I think we're in the midst of the greatest sports dynasty since Russell Celtics. So, like, better than the Steelers in the 70s, better than the Niners in the 80s. I guess you could say the Spurs are on par, but it's different sports, so it's tougher.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots, since Brady has been there, so 16 seasons, 14 division titles, 11 first-round byes, 6 Super Bowl appearances, 4 championships, all these things you're seeing on the screen, 22 playoff wins. They're all the best in the league over that span. They've never had a bad year. I think we're watching what might be the best almost 20-year run in sports history. I know you want to draw one of those little asterisks next to them, so talk to me.
Well, I wouldn't draw an asterisk, but I just think that, comparing Russell and what he did with the Celtics, comparing what Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw did with the Steelers in the 70s with very limited to no free agency, salary cap restrictions totally different, to what the Patriots, I believe what the Patriots doing is really, really special.
So you think they got a little extra help, though? You feel like they a few edges that maybe other teams did?
Well, I wouldn't take that away from, but if you study the Patriots the last 14 years, you would have seen a few times that if the line is drawn right here, it's a few times they had their toes over the line, and they got caught at doing that. But that wouldn't affect my evaluation as far as them being a modern-day dynasty. To me, they're a lot like the San Antonio Spurs. They haven't done it with a lot. I think the Spurs have had more superstars than Brady and Belichick have had, but what they've been able to accomplish, the level of consistency, the program for which they run, how they prepare week in and week out. It's like the Spurs. If I decide to go watch the Spurs play in Sacramento, Cleveland, Miami, or Toronto, you're pretty much going to get the same product.
But in the NBA, here's the thing about being great in the NBA. You have an 82-game sample, so bad luck, unless it's just terrible injury luck, isn't really going to kill you. You know what I mean? Because there's enough time in the season.
But I think the Spurs, though, with their ability to win 50 games, that sets them apart.
No doubt.
That's why you have the comparison between New England and the Spurs.
My question is this. How have the Patriots never had a bad year? How? Like, in 2001, they win the Super Bowl. The next year, they go 9-7, and they miss the playoffs. Since then, they're double-digit wins every single year. In a sport that we see, you can go from the Super Bowl to missing the playoffs, as Denver and Carolina both did this year.
Right.
How is it possible to go almost 2 decades and never be mediocre?
Well, it really speaks to the superior ability of Bill Belichick, to whoever is the second best coach in the NFL.
That gap.
Like that's what? I mean, it's a huge gap. It's a huge, like, matter of fact, we can have a topic. Who's the second best coach? Like, you can throw out a bunch of names,
Right.
but
Pete
we
Carroll,
know,
Mike Tomlin, Harbaugh.
and it's not that way in any other sport.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of respect to Popovich, but it's a lot of guys really close compared to the NFL. So when you have the best coach by a wide margin and you have one of the top 5 players in all-time history in Tom Brady, the system inside of that is what has kept them from losing. Yeah. Their ability to be able to evaluate players, take your garbage and turn it into a trophy, to take guys who have been cut other places. The wide receiver, Hogan, from Buffalo. They gave him $7.5 million guaranteed. Didn't nobody else want him.
Right.
So their ability, Martellus Bennett, I was the Pro Bowl captain a couple years ago. Martellus, he told them he wouldn't be on the other team. I was the only captain that he would play for because there was a couple people on the other team he didn't want to play for him. Right. But he can play for Belichick. So Belichick's ability, it's just amazing.
If you had to bet an amount of money that matters to you, Patriots or the field to come out of the AFC, you got to be right. Patriots or the field to come out of the AFC right now today.
I got a stack of money on the Patriots.
Yeah, me too.